Dear seeker, pause for a moment and listen within. Have you ever stood before a person whose very presence felt like sunlight, whose eyes radiated such peace that your own restless heart grew calm? Have you wondered what secret flame they carry, and why their love seems to flow without end? The ancient sages tell us that this mystery lies in the heart chakra, the sacred Anahata, the hidden temple of divine love within you. Maha Avataar Babaji often reminds his disciples, the true temple of God is not found in stone or shrine, but in the awakened heart where love never ends. When this sacred center opens, something beyond the ordinary awakens, life begins to flow not from fear or desire, but from a wellspring of compassion that has no boundary. The seeker discovers that love is not a fleeting emotion, nor a bond limited to family or friend, but the very essence of existence itself. Imagine a lotus blooming in the stillness of a silent lake. Its fragrance spreads without effort, its beauty touches all who pass, and yet it asks nothing in return. Such is the nature of the awakened heart. When your heart chakra opens, you too become like that lotus, silently offering peace to the world around you. But this journey is not without its tests. Old wounds rise, tears flow, forgotten sorrows ask to be healed. Yet in this cleansing, the light shines brighter. For as Babaji guides, the heart must be purified by love until it becomes a vessel of the infinite. So let us enter this sacred inquiry together. What truly happens when your heart chakra opens, and how does it transform your emotions, your spirit, and your very life? Dear seeker, before we can understand what happens when the heart chakra opens, we must first know its true nature. Maha Avataar Babaji always reminds his disciples, the heart is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, between earth and heaven, between man and God. The ancient sages call it Anahata, the unstruck sound, for it is said to vibrate with the eternal music of the soul, a sound not created by two things striking together, but arising naturally from the essence of existence. The lower chakras guide us through survival, desire, and personal power, while the higher chakras awaken wisdom, intuition, and divine connection. But the heart chakra is the meeting ground, the sacred crossing point where human life embraces divine life. It is here that compassion is born, where love ceases to be an attachment and becomes a universal force. Babaji often says, without the heart, wisdom is cold, and without wisdom, love is blind. Together they are whole. In its natural state, the heart chakra is expansive, radiant, and limitless, like the sky. But for most seekers, it becomes clouded by pain, betrayal, fear, or loss. This creates walls around the heart, making love conditional and fragile. Yet, hidden beneath these layers, the heart always retains its purity, it only waits for the right awakening. When the Anahata blossoms, the seeker no longer feels separate from life. You sense that every being, plant, animal, human, or star, is connected to you in one continuous fabric of divine love. This realization is not intellectual, but a direct experience. The heart, once closed, becomes a shining temple where the divine resides, guiding every thought, word, and deed. Dear seeker, when the heart chakra begins to awaken, the very landscape of your emotions transforms. Maha Avataar Babaji often tells his disciples, compassion is the fragrance of the awakened heart. It spreads silently, yet touches everything. In this opening, emotions no longer enslave you, instead, they become refined, purified, and guided by love. At first, however, the awakening may feel overwhelming. Old wounds, hidden sorrows, and forgotten griefs rise to the surface. You may find yourself weeping without reason, remembering moments of pain you thought were long buried. This is not a sign of weakness, but of cleansing. Just as rain must fall to clear the dust from the air, so too must the heart release its burdens to shine with clarity. As this release continues, forgiveness begins to flow naturally. You no longer carry the weight of grudges or the chains of resentment. Babaji reminds, to forgive is not to excuse, but to free your own heart from prison. The open heart lets go of judgment and seeks understanding, not condemnation. Soon, love ceases to be something you give only to a few. It expands beyond family, friends, or lovers. You begin to feel compassion for the stranger, tenderness for the suffering animal, and reverence for the smallest flower. Even those who once hurt you are seen with softer eyes, for you recognize that they too are seekers, struggling with their own shadows. This emotional awakening is the first fragrance of the open heart chakra. It makes you gentler, more patient, more alive to the beauty of life. And as Babaji teaches, when love ceases to be personal, it becomes divine. In that divinity, the heart becomes free. Dear seeker, once the heart has released its burdens and tasted forgiveness, a greater flowering begins, the awakening of spiritual expansion. Maha Avataar Babaji often guides his disciples with these words, when the heart awakens, the soul remembers its oneness with all. This is the stage where love ceases to be bound to persons or situations and becomes a universal current flowing through your being. In meditation, you may begin to sense that the boundary between yourself and the world is dissolving. The trees, the rivers, the stars above, they no longer feel separate. Instead, they appear as extensions of your own existence. This is the truth of the heart chakra. It does not merely love, it is love. You begin to experience what saints and sages have called bhakti, devotion that is effortless, devotion that is the natural state of the soul. In this state, prayer ceases to be words and becomes communion. Silence itself turns sacred, for you can feel the divine presence breathing with you, living within you. Babaji reminds, the awakened heart does not reach for God outside, it discovers God shining within. This realization changes everything. You no longer seek the divine as distant, for the very essence of God pulses in your heart. This spiritual expansion also brings an inner radiance that others can sense, even if they cannot explain it. People may feel peace in your presence, animals may grow calm near you, and children may be drawn to your quiet joy. You become a living flame of love, not through effort, but through the natural outpouring of the awakened heart. Thus, dear seeker, the open heart chakra becomes the sun of the soul, warming, shining, and blessing all who come near. Dear seeker, when the heart chakra begins to open, the body itself becomes a messenger of change. Maha Avataar Babaji often says, the body is the instrument, but the energy is the music. When the heart awakens, the music plays through every cell. These physical and energetic signs are not to be feared. They are confirmations that the temple of your heart is stirring with divine life. You may first notice a warmth or gentle heat in the chest, as if a hidden sun were rising behind the sternum. Sometimes there is a tingling sensation, a subtle vibration spreading outward through the arms and hands. At moments of deep meditation or prayer, you may feel pressure in the center of the chest, not painful, but insistent, like a flower pushing through the soil to bloom. Breathing also begins to change. Without effort, your breath grows slower, deeper, and more harmonious. The tightness that once bound the chest seems to loosen, and you feel as though your lungs can drink in life more freely. Many seekers describe spontaneous tears flowing, not from sadness, but from a mysterious release of long-held tension. On an energetic level, your aura expands. Sensitive souls around you may notice a glow, a presence, or simply a feeling of peace in your company. Even animals or children may sense it, responding with trust and calmness. Babaji reminds his disciples, when the heart shines, its light cannot be hidden, it heals without words, it blesses without intention. These signs are not the goal but the evidence that something profound is awakening within you. They are whispers of the inner transformation, hints that your heart chakra is aligning itself with the rhythm of the divine. Dear seeker, the true measure of the awakened heart is not found only in meditation, but in the way it transforms your daily life. Maha Avataar Babaji always reminds his disciples, spirituality is not apart from life, it must shine in your words, in your actions, and in your breath from morning until night. When the heart chakra opens, your outer world begins to reflect the inner change. Relationships soften first. Conversations lose their sharpness, and understanding takes the place of endless argument. You begin to listen more deeply, not just to the words others speak, but to the emotions behind them. Forgiveness becomes effortless, for you see that holding resentment only darkens your own heart. In the open heart, even those who once hurt you are met with compassion, for you recognize their struggle as part of the same journey. Work and responsibilities also shift. Where once tasks felt heavy, now they are approached with patience and presence. Service arises naturally, you offer help without calculation, without asking, "What will I receive in return?" Babaji teaches, when love guides action, even the smallest duty becomes worship. Even challenges and suffering are viewed differently. Instead of reacting with fear or anger, you begin to respond with calmness and faith. The open heart understands that every experience, pleasant or painful, carries a hidden teaching. Life itself becomes a sacred classroom, where love is the lesson written in every moment. This transformation is not dramatic or sudden, it is gentle, like dawn spreading light across the horizon. But slowly, dear seeker, it changes everything. With an awakened heart, you live in harmony with others, in peace with yourself, and in silent communion with the divine. Dear seeker, the journey of the open heart does not end with personal peace or emotional healing, it reaches toward a greater purpose. Maha Avataar Babaji reminds his disciples, the awakened heart is not given for yourself alone. It is the lamp lit by the divine, so that others may find their way in the darkness. When your heart chakra fully blossoms, you become not only a receiver of love, but also a channel through which divine love flows into the world. This is why saints, sages, and mystics radiate such profound presence. They do not hoard love, they allow it to move freely through them, blessing all who come near. The awakened heart understands that love is not possession but service. In this state, every smile, every gentle word, even your silent presence, becomes an offering to the world. Babaji teaches, to live with an open heart is to live as God's hands, God's eyes, and God's voice upon this earth. Such a seeker does not need recognition or praise, for the joy lies in giving. You may inspire others without intention, heal without effort, and uplift without speaking. The love within you becomes contagious, reminding others of the light within their own hearts. This higher purpose is not about escape from the world, but about transformation of it. Through your open heart, the divine finds expression in the marketplace, in the home, in the smallest acts of kindness. And in this silent service, you fulfill the greatest teaching of Babaji. When the heart becomes pure love, it is no longer yours, it belongs to the infinite. Thus, dear seeker, the open heart is not an end, but a beginning, the flowering of your soul into its eternal purpose. Dear seeker, you have now walked with me through the sacred mystery of the heart chakra, guided by the timeless light of Maha Avataar Babaji's wisdom. We have seen how its awakening purifies emotions, expands the spirit, transforms daily life, and fulfills its highest purpose as a channel of divine love. Remember always what Babaji teaches, the heart is the throne of the infinite. Guard it with purity, open it with devotion, and it shall guide you beyond fear, beyond sorrow, into eternal freedom. When your heart chakra opens, life itself becomes prayer. Every breath feels like a blessing, every step like a pilgrimage. You no longer walk alone, for you carry the divine within you, and you see the divine shining in every being you meet. This, dear seeker, is the true miracle of the awakened heart. As you continue your journey, I invite you to reflect, what moments in your life have already hinted at this awakening? Have you felt sudden compassion, tears of release, or a deep peace that words could not explain? Share your sacred experiences in the comments below, for your story may guide another seeker on their path. If these words have touched your heart, please like this video, share it with those you love, and subscribe so we may continue to walk together on this path of wisdom and grace. Each act of sharing spreads Babaji's message of eternal love a little further into the world. And now, let us close with reverence, offering gratitude to the lineage of masters who keep the flame of truth alive. May your heart blossom in love, May your spirit shine in freedom, and may Babaji's grace forever guide your steps. Jai Gurudev.